And may I select to be praised to whom all praise are due is the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated Women Auxiliary presents Empress Sadie Saunders.
Greetings, greetings and blessings on this wonderfully warm Sunday evening. It is in the summertime and it's a beautiful time. It's a celebration time for the independence of America, 250-year independence, 4th of July just passed, and there are lots of barbecues and family gatherings. Everybody's having a grand old time. It's also a festive time because the FIFA World Cup is also going on. So there's a lot of joyful events for the summertime as we start to enjoy the start of summer, which is here with us. Hot days. New York City just experienced a heat wave, which was 3 straight days, felt like four, of over 95 degrees to 100, and that was really unbearable. But it comes and it goes, and then you wonder, why am I not feeling warm again? Soon again, the winter comes, and the cycle continues. It's just a cycle of life, as many things are. In fact, cycles, of which, you go around, and if you don't quite get it the first time, you may have to go around again, and sometimes 3 times or more, which is the cycles by which every time is such an understanding. Even the very cycle of life by which we would come, and 9 times we would leave and not return. So we know that there are some of us who have created cycles as well, knowingly, and some unknowingly. But it's a great time to even understand the depths of life and understanding as we visit what's really happening now. A joyous time to reflect upon life and what is happening and experience a knowledge that we have suddenly gained while our eyes are opening and has been opened. So a really joyous time for most of us as we wait patiently to see the things that we would like manifest to really come into being. So human nature could be at the oneness. The true joy and that real apex as we climb is love, the simple joy of love. And many times, so many times, we have spoken about that topic before, where we speak about love. It's not often that we can accept what is being said concerning love and the depths of love. But just to see that we slip right into love, which, wasn't even my intended target this evening, but here we slip, that's where he lead me, I'll follow. And true enough, our Ahaya, the Almighty, He is love. But we speak of love and the depths of which we enter, which is a case where we have forgiveness, we have a place where we have let go, and that is of the burdens that we carry out throughout life when we deal with emotions. So, emotions is one of the great gifts we have, but one of the great curses as well, as it works against us as we travel through the higher realms of love. So, emotions is something that got to put in check. So, this love that we speak about and this divine love that everyone, it's almost like in the 70s, you want to put a flower in your hair again, you want to put on those bright dresses, you want to go to, what's the place they go to, in the 70s at that flower time, it was just love all around. Everybody wore the peace signs. I think John Lennon was the star of the day, and it was Can We All Get Along? It's almost feeling like that kind of moment return upon the earth, although I really was too young to know the 70s and how people reflected. But I have learned from, elders of how certain things happened in the 70s. There was a great, somehow, flowery time. A lot of tie-dye was being worn, a lot of paisley and flowery things, women put flowers in their hair, black and whites were hugging each other, everybody wear the beads. It was a bright, beautiful time. But it was a time where it was needed and very necessary. And this is a time that we are returning to, whereby people are really seeing the benefit of being in love or being kind, just to show kindness. I'm seeing the reflection of this with among all the other things that are happening. I'm able to peep through a lot of these tiny moments. I'm seeing happen on the train where I am seeing young white men up off getting up offering their seat to elder black women. I know. I'm just seeing not just elder black women, but women as well. And I have been the benefit of that myself. So I am just saying, wow, it's quite a reflection of things that are happening, very subtle, but people are getting into their heart, a deep heart feeling that hate is really wearing you out, it's burning you to the ground. And it's not even a good feeling as it returns to you. So I have seen a lot of people trying to show kindness to each other in a human sort of way. And I know there is still wickedness upon the earth, there's still shootings and gang warfare and the police and other crimes that are here with us. But I'm looking at the subtle moments of things that are happening that I am seeing human nature itself wants to change. Despite the fact there are systems put in place so that things could be orchestrated in a certain way, place, and time, that still has not been unraveled or crumbled or even slightly shaken at any means. Except we know that the powers that be, they are shaken in their boots because they know slowly the majority is coming towards the systems because they have realized for quite a long time that it's not just Jack against John or Jane against Sheila, perhaps. And it's a case where systems are put in place whereby certain cases are orchestrated and things that really must happen. Disastrous things as well. And as people continue to grow and their eyes become open and observe of their spiritual self, we will see more of the nature of how things are unfolding, knowing firstly that things first happens in the spiritual realm. It's very important to note that nothing happens in the physical realm before it is first happening in the spiritual realm. So take a minute of this understanding, my dear people. I may have to put my lights on because it may be a little dark. But as I continue to speak with you, I would like to take that moment to see and observe that the spiritual realm is the place where things happen. So therefore, if that's the case of where things happen, it can also be a case where things can be changed. Take a minute or a few seconds to digest this as well. So I want to say to my wonderful listening viewers and my million viewers out there, and as I forget to greet you all this evening, this is Sadie Gomez of Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, Woman Auxiliary Local 26, coming to you live and alive. Let's continue our conversation with you. I would like for my wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people, Mother Nature sisters and brothers, to know of the power that is in your hands, the power that lies within your being, deep down into the secret places of your mind, of your soul, of your heart, lies great power. And for this evening, my dear viewers, I would like for each and every one of you to know that you're empowered and you have a chance to observe yourself, and when I speak of observing, we once had a great, great, great singer with us, our darling brother Michael Jackson, who once said, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. That's where we start because the power lies within. For a long time, we have been thrown off, most of us and our parents and our grandparents and our great grandparents. We've been thrown off to know that we should look for this power outside of us. Somewhere in a church, somewhere with a pastor, a doctor, a priest, juju man, witch doctor, voodoo priest. But somewhere we got to look for this power to attain such a power. And to be powerful, it's quite an achievement. It's greater than having cash. It's a great thing. And again, before I stray too far into Africa, let me just keep it right here for now. The power within us is one where we must tap into to build the strength. And we're not going to spend a lot of money going to a retreat to learn about this. We simply need to tune into the Sadie Sunday show to see your show. But we are asking that we find a quiet place, a quiet moment, a quiet time where we sit within. No distractions of the television, the phones, switch that off for a moment. And sit quietly and, ask, and shall be given unto you. Knock shall be opened. No doors will be closed unto you. You sit within your truth. And you ask the Almighty Father, by which name you may call him, that you will have communication with him, that your spiritual being be developed, because you have to develop this energy within yourself to be able to tap into source or God or higher or whatever name you call him. But this time has come, and I won't have you fool. We have entered into spiritual time, and I want for no one to be left behind. For I know the Father's will also that all man be saved. But I'm saying, I wish for no one to be left behind, but to enjoy the greatness of the Spirit, to which by you can tap in to know self. When you know self and understand self, you will have a more value for your brother and your sister, because then you'll see the connection. You'll see that chain. And, we are seeing now on social media, a lot of ones are speaking of the chosen ones. I have even seen a site or page where they were asking that the chosen ones sign in to such and such a list so that I guess they can be known or recognized or be grouped or something of the sort. I'm not too sure about for what reason that was, asked. But people are very much now speaking of the chosen one, the chosen one. How would we know then who's the chosen one? I know there are certain attributes to which is given, so one can know for themselves if they are the chosen one. And it is very important for man to know thyself, because even the scripture said, man know thyself. So let's imagine that you are the chosen one. What a gift you have, and a great accomplishment, and such a burden to bear, because now you have to lead the pack. And leadership takes great strength. It takes authority, it takes patience, and it definitely takes a honest, true relationship with the Almighty, or by which you may call him. Because the head is directed, and you have the rest of the body by which sustains from the knowledge of the head. So the head is very important that it be solid, so leadership can be great. So we speak of leadership, but of yourself, not leadership of a pack, of government, of a community group, or even your household. But let's take leadership of self. Let's answer for the things that we have done. Let's face ourselves, understand, overstand the accomplishments or the failures. It is necessary to have an honest relationship with self in order to contact within your spiritual aspect of self. Take a while to digest this because even when you lie, you first tell a lie to yourself. For you know it's a lie before you go out there and try to convince others of such an event that you know is not of the truth. You may be able to fool some people and convince them, of course, because such a thing can happen. But let's talk about self. There will be times that you can lay in your bed and commune with your own heart, and you know of the things you have done. No one have to tell you because you are the person that have done it. So when we sort out self, we are then able to climb one rung of the ladder. So spirituality and elevation within the spiritual realms start somewhere. And you must start somewhere because you got to creep before you walk. And therefore run, ride, drive, and fly, of course, to the extremes. But we are speaking of the first rung that you have climbed. Because a lot of people here are looking towards something outside to fulfill their inner being and their joy. It's not possible to do so. We are now able to fill ourselves with joy and happiness when we begin to know self. Because in knowing self, we will know what bothers us, what we like, what we don't like, what we can accept, what we are definitely not accepting. And therefore, we have started the first rung towards happiness. Life is a pursuit of happiness. And that's what it is. Seeing that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, we seek happiness while we are upon the earth. And how do we do so unless you have planned that every day of your life is going to be miserable? Because that's easy to be done because a lot of people are establishing that reality as we speak. But there are people who would like to get out of that and are struggling with it. And in so struggling and doing, you enter a mental state of anxiety. And for some fortunate ones, you may end up getting the power in your arms because somebody declared that your head was not spinning right. So you get a jibby jab, and then you really need one after that. But all the same, a lot of maladies, maladies, so-called sicknesses of mental health, is really your spiritual health suffering. And you wake up in the morning and you say, I don't feel so good today. Why? I'm feeling good today. We're up on the same earth. I have less money than you have, so it's not money. So that's something within that makes you feel good. It's not money, I'm telling you, because a lot of people in money are some of the most miserable people I've known. And yes, that's true because they come to me. Well, Stady, I don't feel so good today. I was like, why? You have all the money in the world, I would imagine. You should be feeling on top of the world. But all the same, I am meeting people and they're just trying to wonder what it takes to make them feel good. They have money, they have jobs, car, houses, clean clothes, maybe a girlfriend, maybe a boyfriend, maybe a wife, husband. So they felt that all their needs possibly were met. But there's this void. And if one should be honest, they would find someone that they want to reason with, they want to talk with. Long ago, you go to the high priest, you go to the confession box, I would imagine. But these days, a lot has failed you within those spectrums. So you just want to find a friend with common understanding or somebody to talk to. Don't know how they find me. Maybe that's just my job. Who knows? I just have to accept and bless. So we would talk, we would reason, good, but they're not feeling good. There's something missing. And for those, I tell you, life is a pursuit of happiness, but you have to start somewhere as you climb the ladder, the various rungs and degrees to which you reach the pinnacle of your development where you are truly happy. And I mean truly happy without want, without desires. You see, that area, some of the various Himalayan priests and Tibetan priests would have reached there. That's why they're comfortably sitting in the mountains wearing their orange clothing, just chilling, making sure they are barefoot and grounded. Not everyone can reach there. Not everyone was perhaps chosen for such a journey within their life. But what peacefulness that one cannot help but admire and in some cases really feel envious about. Because within those realms and that joy, there's a certain experience you have where you realize that life itself is one of nothingness. And when I say that, I mean in the simple terms that in the certain scripture of the various shortest scripture in the Bible that says, let go and let God, when you let go, what it means to let go, you are in a plane and they throw you out from a flying jet. So you are in the air. There's nothing to hold on to. So you have to let go. You're coming down really fast. You're floating. We're not talking about parachute here. You know, you're free flying. You drop. So you let go. Or even with the parachute, just before the parachute opens, that free flying moment, you let go. You have faith and believe in the parachute would open, yes, so you would hit the ground and be splattered in 5 pieces. But imagine the thrill of letting go at that moment, knowing it's a case where, in case where if you can swim and you know how to float, it's one of the greatest feelings ever. You let go. You're in the ocean and the waves are bouncing up and down, and you're laying on your back because you know you have the art of floating, and you let go. It's one great joy knowing that you're not sinking to the bottom because you're floating. And you can do that for many of us who can do it because I would like to say a little bit of my techniques. It's one of the greatest feelings in the world of letting go because you're just bouncing around. The waves are going high, they're going low, they're going fast, they're going slow, but you're just there and nothing happened. You're floating. Somehow, trust and believe, you know that there is a great force of the ocean. There's a great understanding as well, but it's a freedom when your mind could reach such a state within your walk upon this here earth. So there's joy and there's happiness and there's ways of finding it. And who can find it? For those who are able to just let go and let the higher. Let him just be your captain in your life. Let the higher, the great Almighty, let him be your shield, your buckler, your rod, to take you through life various storms. And you let go into the land of happiness. Not that you go into the land of oblivion because you're very much aware of the things that are upon the earth. There's still good and evil. But there's a place, a very quiet place, where you can find such a joy incomprehensible towards human nature and activities. And that place is when you have reached the apex. And for those who are still climbing, wonderful. As we look down from the hill and we know there's hope. because they are ones still climbing. For those who have journeyed through great pain and have been delivered and are sitting on the greatest diamond peak of joy and happiness, it is available to everyone and it exists. And life is indeed a pursuit of happiness. Today's studio audience is not too much, but I'm still going to have my dear Charlie. I welcome him to the stage for a little bit of conversation within this part of our conversation. Charlie, would you like to say something about this? Welcome you this evening. So Charlie, our engineer is here with us. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I'm here. Just a little multitask, just a little bit. But I was as I was listening to you, I was thinking that most times or oft times I find myself conflicted. We're getting some feedback from somewhere. I find myself conflicted
Yeah, there's a feedback. I don't know. I'm close to a window. I don't know if that's anything.
as to where. Um, Hold on, let me see something.
See this coming from your end because I don't have any electrical things in this room. Just my advertisement, the clothing.
All right,
Uh-huh.
I still hear it a little bit, so it's not the air conditioner. But
You
anyway,
want to volume down?
yeah, I don't know where it's come from, but it's gotten a little bit quieter. Um, as I was about to say, listening to you
Uh-huh.
as you were talking and about what is needed, I said I was about to say I often find myself in conflict as to what area should I really be focusing on, right? As far as our people, we're getting some really we picking up something that's extremely distracting.
And by window, you think that is something that I should move my location?
It
I
may
could.
be that may be traffic or something. I don't know, but anyway,
Uh-huh.
I often think about where should the focus be, even considering these times that we're living in and everything that's going on that we have determined to be adverse to the objective of our people. Should our focus be on the things that are happening, what I call here on Earth or in the third dimension, or should we be focusing on our spirituality and not really focusing on the things that are happening here and around us, not to ignore it, but not to make it our primary purpose, not to get caught up in it and feed more into the negative energy. Because I think that there are a bunch of ways that we can fight back. But you made a good point with the scripture that says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. And so, we have to find a way to kind of fight this battle on two planes. One, a spiritual plane, and two, a physical plane, because we definitely see what is being done here on a physical plane to uh, push back progress of Black people in America and around the world. So we cannot deny that. And we also have to realize that no matter how spiritual we get, the scripture says that faith without work is dead, right? So you got to have faith, and then you got to put in the work.
Excuse me.
So
I
I'm
like what you
picking up
said.
a conversation from somewhere. Are you in a public place?
No, I don't know how that's coming through the window. Let me just move this because I'm in the room. It's the side would have the Okay, so I just moved the phone. Yeah,
Okay.
this room is very quiet, but somehow the sound picking up along the corridor. People are outside,
Yeah.
but all the same, I like what you said concerning the fact that the spiritual nature of things. Should you just concentrate on the spiritual nature of things and not concern about the physical nature of things? What's happening here? There's a lot of distraction that has been placed within the physical realms that we exist in to deter us from entering into our spiritual realm. Because once we have entered into the spiritual realm and we have seen things and how it operates from the spiritual realm, we can no longer go back to the carnal realm of understanding. We would know definitely how things play out. Let's say, for example, elections. Elections came, and then we saw a landslide victory by Mr. Trump. And people say, how could it be? You know, your map was red all over as you look and you saw before your eyes what transpired. All right, so with shock and awe and dismay, a lot of people now next day had to get a hold of themselves. Some probably had overdose on pills, and some was just, I said, they were so overwhelmed, it was killing them. But then there were people who operate within the spiritual realms that would have known a day or two before what was actually going to happen. So therefore, when it actually happened, it just slid down their throat with ease, and there was no hiccups about it because they already have what we say the heads up. So throughout life, it's things where I try to explain whereby things happen first in the spiritual aspect before it manifests in the physical aspect. And that's true for everything. And therefore, it has been a great discovery. And the the forces that be and the powers that be, and the families and the societies that keep knowledge away or just give you a few, and they themselves are quite enlightened, because they let you know quite of their names. They will
Mhm.
not tell you in fact there's something called destiny that can be changed. And it took me a while before I could have grasped the science of it, until one of my very old sages. I hope he's still alive. Mr. Gene, you have been very, very helpful in my life. He was way in great sage. I hope you make it to 100. And he sat down, he told me the science of things, and he said destiny can change. He said you can change destiny. And simply because I went to him, as an elder, and I said, listen, Mr. Gene, I had such and such a vision, and it is troubling me to the core. I said, is it that this is going to happen to me? And he said, it would if you don't do something about it. I said, but what can I do? He said, it's destiny and it can be changed. And, we sat down, and the great sage, I imagine, with great wisdom of the African spirituality of things, he showed me and taught me what could have been done. And the very unpleasant thing never happened to me. What we said, knock on wood, it's over 30 years. And I give thanks. It never did happen.
Mhm.
Thank you finally to the core. Yes, Charlie.
Right. No, you can definitely change destiny by changing your focus. Destiny is whatever it is that you're focusing on, and those are the things that's going to materialize in your experience. And if these certain things are materialized in your experience, you are destined to do X, or you are destined to be X. So then change your focus, you change your destiny. So really the power really is in your hand. But a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know how to grasp that. Plus, a lot of people do not want to take the responsibility of being in control of their own life. When I say that, it's easier to be able to blame an outside source for those things that you have determined to be negative in your life, right? If you can always say, well, must not have been the will of God, okay?
Must be.
what you're able to do now is you're able to fall back on something and give something else the responsibility or explanation why you have not done or have not gotten that what it is that you wanted to get or to do, right? And that's also because we're looking outside ourselves. But when we look inside ourselves and we're able to take full responsibility, then we'll learn how to use these powers that are within. Maybe not all at one time, maybe not all at one day, not the very next day once you decide to use them, because the reality is that for most people, those powers or those muscles have been atrophied, right? And they're weak because they have not been used.
Greetings and
They
blessing.
have
I'm
not
late.
been
But,
used. We have not. They have not gotten full greetings, brother. They have not been able to fully use them. So, but now that you know that you can use them, and now the reality of it is, you have used them, and you have been using them your whole life, but you didn't realize that you were using them. You didn't realize that you were creating your own destiny. You didn't realize that you created your reality. You didn't realize that you created your experience. You just thought, well, that's what happened. Well, whatever happened, well, happens. Que sera, sera, right? All in the meantime, you're creating all of those things by your energy, your vibration, the words that you're speaking, and that you're putting out in the atmosphere because of electromagnetic energy. That is what's coming in, and that is what is creating your reality. So we take it in little pieces. Now, that being said, as we're taking these things in little pieces, that's on the spiritual level. On a physical level, they are writing laws to attack you. They are removing voting rights. They are gerrymandering. They are closing down the museums and removing Black history out of the museums. They're removing Black accomplishments and Black generals out of the army and Black top people out of the army and military services, right? We even got a senator in Tennessee saying, okay, now the thing we got to do now is repeal the 14th Amendment. Well, what is the 14th Amendment? The 14th Amendment was the ones that made those people, those individuals that had been enslaved, free. So if you got congressmen and senators talking about we have to repeal the 14th Amendment, we better start putting two and two together. We already see what's going on with ICE. You see what they're doing to the immigrants and all of the other things that are going on. You see the changes and the things that what is called the erasure. They are trying to erase certain things out of history. All right. And now they're talking about the 14th Amendment. So, we've said a long time. At the end of the day, all of this is going on. They really got Black people in their mind as they target. Okay? The immigrants is the low-hanging fruit. That gets the ball started. People, I would encourage everybody that's listening to go and dig up Project 2025, what they have put out. The Heritage Foundation, the good Christian people, the good, nice white Christian people who put out Project 2025, and look and see what they have planned and look and see how much of that have already happened right in front of our faces. So the challenge again that we have is, where do we draw the balance? How do we hit that right point when it, as opposed to spirituality and physicality?
Okay, Charlie, you've said a lot and so much I want to talk about within what you have said. And as we go along, I want to welcome to our show one of our favorite guests, Peter Shiloh. Welcome to our Sunday program.
greetings and blessing. Blessings, Charlie. Enough respect and honor to each and everyone listening
Give
and
thanks.
online. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Okay, so we welcome you. So as Charlie was saying, there's an area that really there's no apology to it. There's a case where we have to grab the bull by its horn. We are seeing what's going on, and there are some things we have no control of. But there's the things we have control of. I see where we could be useful in capitalizing and such. Because let's just say we are left alone with our parents. We can either run out to the streets, get in trouble with the neighbors, pick up a gun, shoot somebody, and we have a murder charge. Or we could stay home, say mommy's not home, lock the doors, get into the cupboards, cook something, bake a cake and share it with each other. We have a choice. It's a really dark, dismal day. But what is going to happen really? We often talk of organized, centralized, and unity. It's the time whereby there's a forced unity upon us, whereby what are we doing for our children? Let's just say the school system. I didn't have the clip to show you, Charlie. I was so elated, I should say. It has been a while since I could have used this word, but there are some 20 somethings. I'm not sure if they were in Ohio or Missouri. I believe it's Missouri. You know, they built a school,
Mm.
20 something year olds, 20 something. They built a school. I have holding like 300 students, principals, this, that, and everything. Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
go ahead, Charlie.
No, no, I just said, wow, that's impressive.
What? So, listen, I watched it and I thought about Omar Johnson, who, we're going to see for convention because, he's the major person flyer, just to give people the flyer, Charlie, just wink, wink and that one. But he also built a school. So I'm saying that there are some young people or people among us, young and not so young, who have the aspiration to know that BS is going down hard, especially with our leader. But they're not going to let that cripple them. So when I saw these guys, I was like, wow, I was so proud. I just wanted to go back to school myself. So I felt really good about that. There are also some accomplishments which I wish I could have really get into seeing to bring, which they accidentally brought it because they were doing the 250-year anniversary of America, and there was a program on regular TV where they asked that people submit names and occupations or services of people that they admire and like. And I'm telling you, so much black people went through there. I was like, whoa, why did they open the program headline like that? And there were a lot of accomplishments with even young black women that are some things to be proud of. So if you didn't know what was going on or how they were raiding the museums and trying to rewrite history, you would see that no matter what, there's some things that cannot stop. The big ball has started rolling and it's coming down the hill and they cannot stop it. Because even in Africa today, knowledge of self has gone on, quite profoundly. As let's say 20 years ago, when we were struggling to still understand Black power and forcing people to wear the beads and the dashiki and keep their afro and, do something, shop Black on Saturdays, buy Black. Remember, we forced that. Now,
Right.
we don't have to force it so much more. We are somehow accepting a challenge whereby we are saying almost what didn't hurt us wouldn't kill us. Or what hurt us can't kill us. We are building us such a resilient, we are doing an extra top layer, a top coat, and we are doing resilience. Because a time whereby such wickedness upon the earth, we are not
Right.
giving up. We are
Right.
not giving.
What
There
don't
you
kill us? What don't kill us make us stronger.
That's where you go. What don't kill us make us stronger?
What don't kill us make us stronger. And so, in a lot of ways, that's why we have not been overwhelmed by what's going on now. Right. First of all, we knew this was going to happen. So we are not surprised. We're not clutching our pearls. We're not going saying, oh my God. We're sitting back saying, we told you. We told you. We already knew. Before he got in the first time, we knew what he was going to be like. He got in. We said, God forbid, if he ever get back in like he's trying to do. The first time he got in, he wouldn't leave. Okay, he called the election fake.
Charlie, how do you remember that? You wouldn't leave.
He wouldn't leave. They stormed the Capitol. All right, tore right at the Capitol, tore up the desk, the papers, the chambers. Right, the first time he wouldn't leave office. They threatened to kill the vice president. Have we forgotten? Right?
Oh my!
All of these things happened the first time. We knew what would happen the second time. Right? And then we knew it was going to be double the drama. We knew when we heard Project 2025 that they already had a playbook in process, a roadmap to do the things that they wanted to do. So we're not surprised. We're not overwhelmed or any of these things because we're not new to them. We've seen them in their much worse capacity, right? And so we have built up a natural resilience to them. And that's another reason why we hate it now. Because of our resilience, because of that special something that we have, that the French call that je ne sais quoi, or that the kids call swag. All right, all of this bothers them. So we see what's going on. Plus now they believing that they're dying off. All right, they believing that because they cannot bring about anything else other than themselves, they as a people are dying off. They're so afraid of that. That's another reason why you feel the temperature in the country that you feel. Okay, that's another reason why you see them now becoming more and more emboldened in their outright racism. It's a survival tactic. It's a thing where, well, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't care. I'm doing what I got to do. That's kind of like where they at now. Trump is not the blame for the condition that the country is in. Okay? The condition that the country is in is the blame for a Trump. And I hope that sink into everybody. Trump could not have get into office if the core of the country was not already corrupted. All right? The core of the country in their desperation was already ready to accept a felon, ready to accept a sexual predator, ready to accept a man that has destroyed several companies, okay? Ready to accept the man that got 3 baby mamas, ready to accept the man that was having an affair when he was with his baby mama, ready to accept the man that was sleeping with a porn star while his wife was pregnant, okay?
Well,
None of that mattered to them.
Charlie, while you're saying all of that, in some places you have just described a regular nigger. So I am just saying, as we move along, the fact that they have gotten such a leader is because there comes a time when a country gets what they deserve.
Yeah, Malcolm had a term for it. He said that the chickens was coming home to roost. right?
Sure did.
That's what he said. And that's precisely what is happening. The reality of it is they are trying to provoke us, right, as a people. But what I would say to people, there are a lot of reasons and a lot of ways to fight back. Okay. Now I know what come to mind first is to go out and grab you a firearm so that you can be armed and ready to shoot like they armed and ready to shoot. But there's another way to get back at them and to control this thing, and that's through our money. Okay, that's through the control of our own currency. That's precisely why we built Project Neo and the Neo Network as a means for all people, all Black people, to come together and accumulate their money and spread it around amongst ourselves, circulate it amongst ourselves outside of their system because their system is falling apart. And so, what we've tried to do is create a refuge, create a covenant, create a conduit for our people that no matter what, if you got $1, you can get into this system that is going to produce for you no matter what they're doing with the American dollar. Okay? Because this is a way for us to fight back by controlling our own money, by controlling our own spending. Look what we've been able to do to Target. Look what we've been able to do to Walmart. Look what we've been able to do to the Asian community. Look how many Black beauticians now, nail salons now, spas, Black-owned spas now are benefiting. And Black people are going to these Black establishments and getting great service. Okay? Why? Because we decided that we were going to control our dollar. So we were going to boycott, right?
Well, most definitely we could turn it around. Let me get our next call into our next call into what's happening. You
You
know,
got to wait till you swallow.
yes, we are with you.
I
Um,
swallow.
so we know you're having a big meal,
Ah,
but so we know we talk of the various things that life and its expectancies, and of course the joy of life. And I want to just go a little bit as to anybody who's watching the World Cup. I want to say, and I came to a conclusion within the World Cup that Africa won the World Cup. And you know, for my 1 million viewers out there, World Cup has not yet finished yet, but I'm letting you know. Because every team comes up, you see a representation of us. I watched Norway put a whipping today in Brazil. It was painful. But Norway played a better football, so we have to give jacket and everything, how it goes. I enjoy my football very much. So anybody has been watching the World Cup? Shiley been watching?
not really, but I heard a little bit of the Brazil beating. Brazil got what, 2-love or something like that.
Yeah, it was a whipping.
Yeah.
Well, but Brazil happened to miss a serious penalty kick that, who misses a penalty? But then, they had the glory days of Pele. So what I want to say really, we look towards certain aspect of things in life, certain familiar things that brought us happiness, brought us joy, or even we had great expectations to it. And I brought up the World Cup team particularly because when I look at Brazil and the team started, I love my football and I really know the rules of the game as well. And I saw that Norway, notwithstanding the fact of not being as famous as Brazil, they played the better ball. But with expectation, you still watch those yellow shirts run across the field and you were hoping for a goal. And such is also in the game of life. Within expectations, expectations bring us on to various criteria and events that we formulate in our mind. not necessary to be true, but things we formulate in our mind, and we are hoping now within our expectation for such a manifestation. But that's where you get now doubt and frustration and outgrowth disbelief. But on the other spectrum of life, you could have expectations of things that you have formulate within its spiritual realms that can be physically manifested. And this is an art which we were given, as I said earlier on, if we tap in to the various aspects of self by which we can now formulate things within the attraction that we can have manifest within the physical realm that we could come to enjoy as well. So, as I said, it's an art, it's a science, it's a practice. It has been hidden, and few have known it. And for who have known it good enough, have written great books and have cassettes about it, and hoping that they can sell and make their millions by extending such knowledge. But good are the cassettes, I would say, and everything, and for those who have extended the knowledge to the layman. But deep spirituality is of which accomplishments take place. There is a place within the realms where, as I said, destiny. So we just go back a little bit just to attract our who have just joined us and for us to understand destiny. As I continue speaking within those realms, I don't know if Shiloh would be able to relate to this, but Charlie, somehow I know you might be. Remember the movie Final Destination, Charlie? I just drew a plane, a paper plane. It looked like one of those English ones.
Yeah,
Charlie,
this is. I remember parts of it. This is the one with the kid knew that the plane was gonna go down.
yeah.
Yeah.
I somehow drew a plane, it's whisking across the skies. So it showed us there, but it was great that if you do things a little different, what destiny and how you can shift certain traumatic aspect of life for let's say another day, right? Because some things can also follow you because it was destined to happen. And even within the shift of another day, it will catch you just another day. So we speak of which we understand. We first start speaking of the quiet place by which you enjoy within yourself, that you could find that peacefulness to make the communication in the first place. So having made the communication, and this is not a case when you make the communication Monday, Tuesday, happen Wednesday, no. It's really months and for some great sages, years of a scientific approach, a spiritual approach towards how things happen or how things cannot happen to you. So this we share, and there are people who are natural, I would say, um, adepts to such a science that it follows them around in terms of they cannot help but do the spooky. Anywhere they are, the spooky seem to happen. So these are various gifts given to both melanated and I guess non-melanated people as well, because spirituality lies way beyond color. Because as we all know by now, from the various teachings, we are spiritual beings having a physical experience by which we pick up an envelopes. Some envelopes are colored, some are not, and there are this area of life where we understand spirituality as to what do we do, how do we, and how do we enjoy being a spiritual being within this here dimension. So I want to welcome Shadow to the show. What do you want to tell us this evening?
Blessed love, respect, and honor. Yeah, man, big up the engineer and thing, Charlie. Well, right now, we're just giving thanks for life and listening and learning, from you people also, too. What you say about the topic about quiet places? You were saying something about that?
Yes, I said, there's a time when for our spiritual growth, but not just our spiritual growth, but our spiritual achievement, just to be able to tap in, we must find that quiet place because we want to now go into self. So a noisy place will not prohibit, that kind of activity. It will be quite prohibited in a noisy place. So we try to see, you know, what are some of the how do we start? Let's say, because we want to climb this ladder, so we know the first rung of the ladder is to find a quiet place. Because we one day would like to achieve, and reach the top of the mountain, as we should say, within those realms. But in order to do so, we must start somewhere. So, hope I answered your question with that.
Yes. Well, for me personally, as a spiritual person, I think I'm a spiritual person. You know, several times, even before I becomes a dad or even a grandfather, I always steal away to the mountains, the waterfalls, the river, the sea. I just try to get a closer vibration from my father, get closer to Mother Nature to find my spiritual heights. And it is very important for all of us to do that. For you to reach certain spiritual heights, you need certain quietness, peace, and love and tranquility. And the place you would find those, tranquility or to hear the voice of the Most High is like most likely in the mountains, the river, seaside, the spas, quietness and stillness and just Mother Nature, the sound of the bird or the wind. I think that's a place where you could start to find a spiritual strength and a spiritual heights. That's where I started, and I still, cause right now I'm in the hills next door to the mountains right now, and the signal is not so good, but give thanks it's coming through still. I really adore these places. For real. It bring back tranquility, peace of mind, and get me more on my spiritual journey. So I think that's one of the nicest place to be, even right now. Into the hills, as you see on the mountain top. That's where it all is. Peace and tranquility and love and closeness with the Most High. Yes, I real.
You said it so well. I am saying, Peter Kailo, our musical director, has said it so well because the various places that he pointed out are where we would really find the joy of the spirit. He pointed about the quiet places, the mountains, the riverside, ocean. That we listen to him, I couldn't help but smile a little bit to reflect the days that I've spent in such places where you were able to contact and reflect and just feel a joy because you know you're in communion with the Almighty, the higher, and deep within nature. It's a whole different feeling that comes along, and you have reached that connection. And the joy for those who can't do it. And of course, we're happy for the teachings that were just given to us by our guests who just shared with us some moments. And he himself reflected that he's having that type of moment as well at present. So we thank you
Present.
so much. And that's part of over the evening. So, as you and Spot to musical director, we want to give an assurance for that on July the 18th, the Ethiopian World Federation Local 26 musical unit is having their second anniversary concert to be held at 130th Street at the Noma and Amsterdam. Not Noma Place, 130th in Harlem. And tickets are available at $20 each. You have your dinner, but most importantly, we are having our musical unit. Our musical unit is very strong. So I will drop this in your hand, Peter Shiloh, to give us a little bit of what's happening at the concert and how we're looking with our musicians and how things are lining up.
Yeah, greeting. Yes, things is lining up slowly but surely. Definitely, we will be taking care of business. The local 26 musical unit, we are ready to go, and we are preparing to have a nice second anniversary. Hopefully the flyers are late, but hopefully we'll get them out this week and here.
Yeah, as I did
Support.
mention with musical director, the pictures that the artist sent in, I'm gonna send it over to not Black Eye, to I'm calling Black Eye because he said he's gonna come on the shoot today.
Yes, yes, that's
Over
Bookie. Yeah,
Bookie, and you will take it from there. So I imagine you'll hold a meeting. If
yes,
I don't know
definitely,
if you
definitely.
tomorrow to get it over. And,
I yes, I was planning to do that.
all right, because with that way, this week we get it and we send it out. So we all right. But
Yes,
meanwhile, it's July and it's soon, July 18th, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. The flyers will be usually, and the next show we'll be able to have something up and showing and have the flyers out there and promoting. So meanwhile, time has gone by, but we will talk of the show, Shiloh, concerning, what we have to do.
yes, definitely, definitely.
Okay. All right. So for this evening, this is Sadie Gomez of the People Federation Incorporated, and we are coming to you live in the live. And we are running our program this evening, and what we spoke about earlier on. We're not going to have a very long program this evening, because really it's been quite hot and a bit muggy, and we keep our lives to keep everything alive. But we are looking forward to our convention taking place from the 15th to the 21st. It's going to be quite a long convention. Charlie, it's going to go on for a long time. So the 21st, we're still back in convention mode. So all that's happening. And we're looking forward very much to that. And I will come off for a bit, early evening, and this is your host, Sadie Gomez of the EWF Federation Incorporated, coming to you live and saying to you, good night.
And may I say that be praised to whom all praise our due is the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated Women Auxiliary presents Empress Sadie Saunders.